Monsters University. When I saw Monsters Inc. way back, it was like one of the first movies I saw in theaters. I was kind of too young to think what they could do with a sequel. I was thinking to myself, it was literally the first movie I saw in theaters. I was like 2 years old when when Monsters Inc. came out. So I was a bit too young on thinking, what could they do? But thus, in 2013, we got Monsters University. The story of how Sully and Mike first met. But will Monsters University be as good as Monsters Inc.? Or we want to give an F to this. We want to give an F like an exam to this movie. Let's find out. The story pretty much starts off with Mike having a dream of being a scarab, but everyone says he's not scary enough. Thus, we cut 2 years later. A few years later, when he starts at MU, and of course, this is where Mike and Sully first meet, and they don't get along. Now, I would say that maybe some elements of the story maybe don't work here. Like, my big complaint with the story to this movie definitely would be that we don't see what could have happened to, how Randall, ended up hating Mike and Sully. It's like, but apart from that, the story is pretty nice. Obviously Mike and Sully, not getting along at first and eventually, unfortunately, they both get kicked out of the scaring program, so they had to try and find another way of proving that they're both scary. Thus, we get the scare games. So pretty much, and then they pretty much have to join this group called Uzma Kappa, and of course they're the worst group on campus, and of course we've got these bunch of monsters that don't get along, trying to find a way to get along in the end. So, yeah, I guess, but, apart from having a few flaws, the story is still pretty solid. The animation. If there is one thing that makes this movie absolutely memorable, it definitely is the animation. Now, the animation, is not as solid as maybe some Pixar movies or even other animated movies in general, but the animation is still really nice, And, even though, this is a prequel, it's still nice because it's like they're in college. It's not like, and it, they're like in preschool or something. But even if this prequel was when they met in preschool, then the animation still could be solid as it is here. The designs on characters are absolutely amazing. The designs around the animation of the university in general is amazing. So even though these guys, all these monsters are at least 10 years young, like Randall, Mike, Sully, even, and everyone else, even like they're, 10 years younger than, obviously Mike, Sully, and Randall are in Monsters, Inc., they still managed to give a solid credit with the animation. The characters. There are so many characters to name here, so I'm gonna get this done real quick. Let's start off with Mike, who's one of the main characters, obviously, in this movie, and him trying to prove that he's scary. Now, the way Mike portrays himself in this movie is actually, I think, kind of a bit better than he does in Monsters Inc. because I feel he has more character in Monsters Inc. than he did in Monsters U than he did in Monsters Inc. So, yes, this is absolutely a must-watch. This is like, Mike is just so good. I love this character. What about the other characters? Well, Sully still is, Sully's a still solid character. He's trying to be, the jerk in the beginning, and then he realizes, without him realizing he's a jerk in the end, he realizes he's a jerk, and he has to, fix his ways of being a jerk. It is really nice the way they do that. What about the other characters, like the characters of Uzma Kappa? They're good. I'm not gonna say they're perfect, but they're good. What about Randall? Well, he's kind of a side character in this movie, so there's not much to say about him. And yeah, pretty much the other characters are just jerks, especially the Roar Mega War characters are just jerks. So, not much to say about those people. And even Dean Harscrabble, I don't particularly like. I feel like she's just one of those other, I feel like what's a shame is I feel like she's trying to kind of be like what Water News was in Monsters Inc., but she's not necessarily doing a good job. I prefer Water News than I do Harscrabble, because you knew that, even though we both knew that both these, monsters, are gonna be villains, you really don't know to the end of the movie that Water News is the villain. But when Harscrabble sees Harscrabble, you know she's a fucking villain. And she's not even like the main protagonist in this movie. But so yeah, there are some strong characters and then some good characters and just characters that you just probably want to forget. Monsters University may not hold up to the strength that Monsters Inc. has, but it is still a nice prequel to how Mike and Sully first met and had to get along. So if I had to put a story, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid story, even though, my only flaw with the story definitely is I would have loved more something with Randall. The animation, I'm going to give 8 out of 10 to that as well. It's really some nice animation, really nice design of the characters, in the movie in general. And the characters, I'll give them 7 out of 10. There are, there maybe that's 1 or 2 characters that the reason I'm giving a 7 is because, those couple characters are kind of, I don't know about them. And obviously, with the characters I don't like them. So overall, I'm going to give Monsters University an 8 out of 10. This is definitely a solid prequel to the movie, even though, yes, it doesn't hold to the strengths of what the original had, but it still is a nice story. So, join me next time for my next review, which will be something, maybe a lot actually. See you later, dudes.